Black Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to this broadcast of Black Talk Radio News. We're on live and we're broadcasting from behind the enemy lines of USA Inc. Tonight, I just want to talk to the community about this black agenda or opportunity agenda for black men that the Harris campaign just rolled out. I've been seeing some opinions being shared about it, and I'm definitely going to share my opinions. But I'll also share some of the opinions of some of those who follow Black Talk Radio and what the black men that I speak to usually on a daily basis, not really a daily basis, but we in contact with each other through social media, but what they had to say about the plan. And then I got one sad comment from a black woman who's followed Black Talk Radio Network for a long time. And she didn't say anything derogatory, but it was just sad that she asked me to support the plan or said that at least she's doing something, and you haven't read the plan. So has anybody read that plan? I do have a summary. I have posted actually a summary for those joining us on the TikTok live. I posted that summary. Hopefully you can read that, but I also have a hard copy that I'll be reading from. Actually took her whole plan, and it's not that long. I was able to download it in PDF file. Again, it's called This Opportunity Agenda for Black Men. But it just falls, it's just a pathetic attempt to try to pander to a very small group of black men who may or may not vote, in an even smaller number that may vote for Donald Trump. And so this is the response after Barack Obama came out and fumbled the bag, so to speak. He fumbled that bag in attacking again this very small number of black men. And I'm an unaffiliated. I'm not in the Democratic Party. I'm not in the Republican Party. I'm not in the Libertarian Party. But I will be joining the Green Party of North Carolina soon. But I can look at this objectively and tell you that it'll probably be more black men who don't vote than black men who will vote for Donald Trump. Okay? And I actually spoke to a black woman today when I was out canvassing voters in Gaston County. This is the second day in a row where a black person has told me that they may not even vote. Now, obviously, they were registered to vote because they wouldn't have been on my canvassing list. And so they were registered to vote, but they are not excited about turning out. One's a black man, the other was a black woman. All right, so this is what this plan is being released for. It seems like a last minute thing. Why you didn't have something to begin with? Okay, why you didn't have something carved out specifically for us? And is this really specifically for us? Not that I'm asking for anything specifically for us other than reparations. And that's not just for black men. That's for the entire black family. Okay, so if you're not talking to me about reparations, then you really can't offer me anything that you're not offering to other people. It will actually be illegal. It will be against the law to pass some kind of, let's say, scholarship fund, or it talks about these loans. If those loans were only being made available to black males, that would run afoul of the civil rights laws. So it's like you saying you're going to do something that I know is illegal to do. And in the fine print, when you read it, they know it's illegal for them to do. And that's why this isn't specific to black men. So that's what I want to get into tonight. If you looked at the plan, you have my summary right there on the screen for those joining us on TikTok Live. Request to come up and give us your thoughts on this plan, if you can call it that. I have summarized it into 5 bullet points. And it touches, again, the plan isn't that long. It's only about a page and a half in a PDF file. It's not that long. So we have Moon, who's joined us in the chat. Welcome, Moon. Said most of these are illegal. It's pandering. It is. It is illegal. The only thing that you can pass that is quote unquote race specific would be reparations, just like they paid Japanese Americans reparations specific to the internment camps. I don't think it was linked to the discrimination like, Asians face, just like black people face, not to the same degree, but, the Chinese Exclusion Act. whites only, you know. So, but no, that was specifically, if my memory serves me correct, was specifically for the Japanese American internment. They got reparations for that. And I don't know why, but the United States government, including the Obama administration, have paid reparations to people classified as Jews. What's that about? But my point is, those are the only type of things that you can pass race specific, like things dealing with the indigenous nations of Turtle Island, or North America, as most of us are taught this land is called. You can pass stuff specific to them. But any of this stuff that's on this list that she's talking about, or they're talking about from that campaign, you can't make it specific to just black men or to be illegal. See, this is why I get angry. It's like the Republicans, I know they don't care nothing about non-white people. Okay, yeah, they had their tokens, but I know by looking at their policies and what have you, it's not something I rock with. You know, not to say they haven't done anything. They did help pass the Second Step Act, which released a lot of people out of prison when Trump was president. It also made it illegal to shackle these pregnant mothers to their beds while they're giving birth in the hospital or the prison infirmary or wherever. It did some things. So, we have to give credit where credit's due, but that was bipartisan legislation that was signed into law by Trump. But for the most part, we know Republicans don't really, and I'm trying to keep it family friendly, they really don't rock with working class of any color, if you ask me. They pander to the white working class by giving them this whitey supremacy, aka racism propaganda, dog whistles, stuff like that. And they seem to eat it up, or to get them to hating on the Chinese or hating on the Russians, just hating somebody anywhere in the world. The U.S. government is good at channeling white hate towards people. Okay, and Americans in general. Got us hating nations and leaders in nations, and we don't know nothing about them nations. Only thing we know is what we see on the television. But I want to know, what do y'all think about this plan? Because I've seen comments, people were saying, oh, this is a good plan and what have you. And I'm like, really? Really? That's what you think? But I haven't really engaged anybody on it. Except for the one female who said, why can't you just support it? She's doing something. I'm like, have you read it? She was like, I haven't read it yet. And that was the end of the conversation. How you going to make a comment about something that you haven't even read? Then another person left a comment that said that the orange man you won't get anything from the orange man. Well, that's beside the point. I'm not getting anything here. And nothing from nothing leaves nothing. I think that's an old R&B song I remember probably from my childhood or something. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You got to have something. If you want my vote, yeah, we'll rock with that. But let me go into some of the details now. Let me see if we have anybody that wants to come up. I think you can put in a request, and, I just want to know what your honest thoughts are. But let me go ahead and pull up a larger copy. I actually broke my glasses, 2 pairs of glasses. I broke them. And the VA is telling me I can't get another appointment to get my other 2 pair, because the VA gives you 2 pair a year prescription glasses. And they're telling me I can't get an appointment till, when did they say I can get that appointment? In March sometimes. Man, yeah. So anyway, I had to pull up on my laptop a bigger screen. So again, I'm just interested in your honest thoughts. What do you think about the plan? Here we go. Kamala Harris will create an opportunity agenda for black men. That's the title, right? Will provide 1 million loans that are fully forgivable up to $20,000 for black entrepreneurs and others to start a business. See, they had, for legal reasons, to put in the and others. Because if only black men would have access to this loan, it would be in violations of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. See how they be playing? People be playing in your face. They don't play in my face because I don't let them play in my face. But collectively, they be playing in our faces. Okay? Now, this one person said to me I'm like, $1 million? Do you really think that's a lot of money? $1 million in loans up to $20,000 to start a business? First of all, most businesses, and y'all could do the research, we could fact check it, but most businesses go out of business in the first 5 years. Why do people think that creating businesses is like a magic bullet for anything? Most of these businesses fail. They fail. And a majority of businesses, especially in the black community, don't even have employees. These are like service businesses. These are like real estate agents or professional services. Like we got tax season coming up. Well, it ain't coming up, but I'm making sure I keep all my receipts as I go out here canvassing, paying for gas and all of that. But professional services, notaries, stuff like that. That's what the majority of black businesses are. Then you got your barbershops and your beauticians and what have you. But this is not a magic bullet. But let me do some quick research that I didn't think to do before, because I'm like, how much, y'all bear with me, let me find my browser. How much would $1 million, let's say that they got the full amount, the 20,000, right? How many people would that help? That's a simple question I want to know. Because, everybody got to know $1 million. Again, I already stated that this is not just for black men. This is for others as well. So how many of us is going to be fighting for this $1 million? You know what I'm saying? This is just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. So what I'm looking for, how many, let me use my other keyboard. How many people would get loans up to $20,000 out of a fund of $1 million? Now y'all got to know, 1 million is not a lot of money. Okay. So 600 people could receive loans of up to $20,000 from a $12 million fund. That's from a $12 million fund. That's not what I asked this thing. I said 20,000. Okay. I made the mistake. So let me go ahead and redo that. I said 1 million. So only 600, if it was 12 million, that would only assist 6 million people. 600 people. So let me just redo that. So it's probably going to end up being 60 or something like that. It would be 50 people. 50 people could receive loans up to $20,000 from a $1 million fund. Wow. That's a lot. Not. Do you see how people be playing in your face? And then to put this as an opportunity agenda for black men, and it's not even just for black men. Then, okay, point number 2, support education, training, and mentorship programs that lead to good paying jobs for black men, including pathways to become teachers. Wait a minute. Ain't this sort of stuff already going on? Don't they have programs for this where in states and different counties where they're trying to recruit teachers and offer bonuses to get people to become teachers, or there's this whole movement to raise the pay? What are you going to do additionally on top of what you're already doing? Support education, training, and mentorship programs that lead to good paying jobs for black men, including pathways to become leaders. Okay. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of, remember Barack Obama in 2017, or it might have been 2014. But during his administration, he launched the so-called Brothers Keepers mentorship program, supposed to do the same stuff, right? Matter of fact, I think I pulled it up. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Let's see, opportunity agenda. I had asked about Obama, okay. What happened to, okay. I had asked the question, didn't Obama create a mentorship program called Brothers Keepers, and what happened to it? Barack Obama launched My Brother's Keeper initiative in 2014, created in response to the challenges that boys and young men of color face in the United States, with a focus on improving their life outcomes. The program sought to provide mentorship, support, and resources to help young men of color succeed in school, find good jobs, and avoid the criminal justice system. Here is the goals of My Brother's Keeper. Again, this is stuff that we already do, or hopefully doing, in our current public education system. One, enter school ready to learn. That's pre-K, dude. That's pre-K. That's pre-K. That we should have for all children. Okay? Complete education and graduate, prepare for success. See, this is just sloganeering and vague stuff that any high school guidance counselor will be telling you. Any good parent will be telling you. You know? So I said, what happened to My Brother's Keeper? After Obama left in 2017, the program continued under My Brother's Keeper Alliance, which is now part of the Obama Foundation. The current state of the program, it is active through the Obama Foundation. It remains active and supported by the Obama Foundation, which continues to work on mentorship and community building programs. Now, it says it focuses on local impact. Over 250 local MBK communities have been established across the country. These are cities, counties, and tribal nations that have committed to improving the lives of young men of color through specific actions. And so there you go. There you go. Barack Obama already doing that. Now, we gauged on what kind of impact that is having, but if it's not having an impact to the point that you feel you got to address it, then why you want to follow that same model for something that's not working? Now, I'm sure that we have individual success stories and what have you that have, used some of the, I'm not going to pretend like they ain't helped nobody. But again, this is being sold to us as some kind of new opportunity for black men, and it's not. Okay? Again, if you would like to request to come up and express yourself, if you're in support of this plan, if you see it differently than I, you are more than welcome to come up and express that. Have an intelligent conversation about it. Please help us reach our goals here on TikTok. Really trying to establish a broadcast community, although we do have our own community on blacktalkradionetwork.com, because we don't get grants from the federal government or certain corporations and stuff like that, because, quite frankly, they find Black Talk Radio to be too militant for them, too radical for them. We're too left leaning. And then we got them conscious black brothers over there on Time for an Awakening and bringing, no. So no, they don't want to fund us. And so we have always relied on the people to fund the media platforms that we engage in. And I hope that my new audience over here on TikTok will do so. All right. It don't got to be a lot. Every little bit helps, y'all. So, okay. So let me move on. It talks about protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who make them know their money is safe. I mean, really, y'all. This stuff is kind of insulting to me. How can you do something specifically for black men to protect their cryptocurrency? Look, there's already a move by the federal government and world bodies and these large corporations. And, let's talk about the federal government. They already debating this stuff. And it ain't specific to black men. It's specific to everybody. So again, this is why the Democrats make me so angry. It goes like something like Malcolm X said back in the day. He said that, we prefer our enemies to be upfront about who they are. These people that call you, that say that you're your friends, well, they must not think too highly of you. And if this is how they treat their friends, who needs enemies? They just play us and play us and play us. But there's some of us who will hold them accountable. And y'all say, how we going to hold them accountable? Well, if the Democratic Party wants to keep nominating people to lead this party and put these type of people in leadership positions in the DNC, like Hillary Clinton, racist, Joe Biden, racist, Barack Obama, proxy of racism, Kamala Harris, these are all people who have engaged in war crimes, y'all. Let's just be real about it. On the world stage, these are war criminals. And that's just the truth of the matter. That's not an emotional statement. That's just a matter of fact. That's why I don't get Kamala trying to play the prosecutor and Trump supposed to be the criminal. They all freaking criminals. They all criminals. And how have we allowed these criminals to get a lock on our minds and emotions, and to think that they can produce something good. And I'm going to get on that point in just a bit. Let me keep going on. So the cryptocurrency, let's not even spend much time on that. Launch a national health initiative focused on the illnesses that disproportionately impact black men again. This has to be open to all people, and it don't make no sense. It's not just black men. The reason black men are disproportionately impacted is because of we're disproportionately on the lower rung of the income scale. It also has to do with where you live. There are things called food deserts and the quality of your food. And you know, it's not just a matter of eating healthy, but do you have access to healthy food to eat? There are so many variables. But black men aren't the only ones running around here with rectum cancer. The name escapes me, and I wouldn't have my colonoscopy. When was that? A couple of years ago. You're supposed to get one at 55, maybe earlier. And I got mine because I have VA healthcare. A lot of black men and a lot of, let's not even bring color into it. Working class people, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. All of us get sick from these things. And Americans in general are of very poor health. But why are we disproportionately, and I'm talking to working class, I ain't talking about black people, I'm talking working class people. Why do we have these disproportionate negative impacts? Well, that's because we don't all have access to health care. So I'm going to say no thank you to any kind of black health care initiative. I'm going to say yes to Medicare for all. How about that? How about that? I think black men will be helped if everybody's being helped. But these are the little crumbs from master tables that they, throw at us on the floor. Little crumbs like this that you can't even deliver on. You're just playing in my face. Now, this last one is pretty racist. Let me see. We got one request. I'll let this person come up before I move on to the last one about legalizing weed. I mean, I think that's very racist to tie legalizing weed as an initiative for black men. But I think we got Laverne joining us. Thank you for joining us here on Black Talk Radio News. Go ahead with your question or comment.
I have a comment, and I was listening to you, and I don't know where to begin. But let me just start by saying I'm only here to have a conversation.
What's your thoughts on the player?
I live in Brooklyn, and I used to do voter drives, Brooklyn in the projects. And most of the young black men that I tried to engage have no idea where their food stamps were coming from, have no idea who was funding their housing, because they think, again, it has nothing to do with them. So they don't understand that the midterms are the most important, because in actuality, the most powerful part of government is not the presidency. It's not the Supreme Court. It's the legislative branch. And right now you keep saying Democrats. But in all actuality, it's Republicans. And because black men don't participate in midterms, that's how we get gridlock in the Senate and in the House. That's where the money is. That's where the money is.
Let me stop you right there, and I'll let you continue. But let's break it down in the points. Now, you said that these black men in Brooklyn don't know where their food stamps are coming from, don't know where, I guess you were applying that they live in public housing, and that they don't know where these things are coming from. And I would say that it's impossible for them not to know where they're coming from if they signed up to get it. So
No. I'm not talking about HRA. I'm talking about those are federally funded programs, and we have 3 equal branches of government. One of them holds the purse. One of them holds the money.
Let me finish. I'm 57 years old. I'm college educated. You don't have to break down the branches of government to me. Please don't talk down.
No, I'm not talking down to anyone. I'm just saying to you how I'm trying to get them to understand.
So let me finish with the analyzing what you just said. Okay. I'm gonna leave the welfare where it's coming from alone. The other thing that you said is that black men don't know about the midterms. Listen, That's Americans in general and black people in
I'm saying
general.
in Brooklyn, listen, I'm saying don't take it personal. I'm saying in Brooklyn,
I don't live in
in
Brooklyn, so why
in
would I take
Canard,
it
I'm
personally?
just saying my experience from where I'm coming from. I have a degree in urban studies from Long Island University in New York.
Okay, hold
I'm
up.
saying to you, a part of what I used to see that
Okay, I'm gonna put you on mute for a second, Laverne, because we can't keep over talking people. And if I haven't finished my breaking down what you first just said, then I can't allow you to keep interrupting me and then moving the goalposts and bringing up something else different. What I asked for listeners, if you wanted to come up, is to tell me about this plan. What do you think about this plan? I didn't share a lot about this plan. Okay. And you said nothing about this plan. You are educating us, trying to educate us on the three branches of government, stuff we should learn. You know, I think I learned that in the 70s from watching cartoons and Schoolhouse Rock would come on. I think we all know how a bill becomes law and all of that. But it does seem like you're trying to make black men in Brooklyn seem pretty ignorant who don't know these things. And you said that midterms are important. I haven't missed a vote since I first started voting. I believe it was sometime in the early 2000s. It was sometime after I got out the military. I'm not sure. But that's all Americans. It's all Americans. We can pull it up right now. We can do the research. We can show that during presidential elections, turnout is higher. During the midterms, turnout is lower. And that's among every demographic. So let's not make it specific to black men. All right, now I'm going to pull you off. Looks like you may have dropped off. Okay, let me see. No, you're still there. Let me unmute you. Still trying to learn this.
I was just
Okay,
using
go ahead.
I was just using Brooklyn as an example of my experience dealing with the people in my community. And I was
But
saying,
do you not know that that's a phenomenon among all Americans?
no,
That
I get
midterms.
that. I get
Okay.
that. But I'm just trying to tell you from my experience by doing voter registration and drives in the projects, the things that I've noticed. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying I'm not saying it's not a phenomenon around the United States. I'm just saying what I've noticed in hood neighborhoods that I've been in, trying to
Mm-hmm.
do voter registration. A lot of people feel like, again, we don't care because that doesn't impact me. And what I've learned is that a lot of them were not realizing that the legislative branch is the one who funds the federal housing and the one who funds the food stamps that your moms get. You understand what I'm saying? I can only use what I know from my experience. I can't speak for everything. But I'm saying young black
Okay,
men in those
so
communities,
how does this tie into the subject matter at hand, talking about this opportunity agenda for black men from the Harris campaign?
I'm getting there. And the
Okay.
reason I'm saying this is because what I'm noticing is the lack of engagement. That's the commonality. A lot of people don't know that things like this exist. Now, what I notice with young black women is that when it comes to business opportunities and programs like you described for Obama, not necessarily that program, but women access those things because it's a matter for them of survival. And that's
Have you ever heard of 100 Black Men?
yes, yes. And what's his
And
name? Noble.
they're all over the
Yes,
country, are they not?
Noble. I have a crush on him so bad. Yes, I know who that is. I'm just saying to you, they even try to bring the community together and engage young black men, and they just don't. And I think a large part of that is because of education. They don't
Okay.
understand. They're not.
Or I could give you, or they could be looking at it like some of the older black people around my age. And I do want to give a shout out to Gray. She knows who she is, and I saw that you had gave me a gift during the last live. Thank you so much for that. But again, none of this got anything to do with what I'm talking about. This plan. And again, you know, we just want to punch down on black people and act like black people are so
No, you
ignorant.
said that. You said that
And
Obama had this plan. That's what I was responding
okay,
to.
my point was is that these things already exist. So how is she offering
Yes, but
you?
what I'm saying to you is that the young men that I try to engage are not accessing. They're not going to look for these things. They're not.
Okay,
They don't
got
know that they're there.
okay, got it. So that sounds to me, and thank you for coming up, Laverne. You come up at again in the future at any time. But you know what? It also sounds like to me that these organizations that have these programs aren't doing a very good job of advertising them, are they? Okay. That's part of the so-called outreach is marketing. So if these people don't know that these things exist, that's because nobody's going out there to tell them these things exist. But I would tell you that they do know most of this stuff exists. Everybody's connected on social media, and we see all of this type of stuff. Okay, so let's not blame. And then the other point I want to make is a lot of people don't want to vote. Oh, yeah, sometimes my mind wanders, but I was talking about those two older people I canvassed. One I canvassed yesterday was a black woman. When I knocked on her door, she was very apprehensive. This black community in Gastonia, very apprehensive about, didn't know if I was selling something or anything like that. Not that she was scared of me or anything like that. She wasn't giving me those vibes, but she was like, can I help you? And what do you want? And so I'm like, I'm working with this nonprofit. I want to know what's the most pressing issues out of affordable housing, public education funding, and public safety. How would you rank Gaston County now on those issues? Number one, what should we be focusing on? Most people saying affordable housing, and it is a big issue. And I live in a rural county. All right, and we got homelessness here. People even sleeping on some of our property. Like we got a lot of woods behind our house, and it belongs like collective family. There's people that's been set up tents back there. One or two people we've come across, and it's not that we want to run them off, but sometimes we be shooting back there at practice, target shooting and stuff, and they can get hurt, But that's how I live in a rural area, and it's homeless people. It's a lot of homeless. And affordable housing is an issue. They building these cookie counter homes. Y'all might have seen some of the video of Hurricane Helene and seen some of them houses that was being swept down the road by these rivers and stuff. That's that cheap housing. Ain't tied down to no foundation. Then they charging $200,000, $250,000, $500,000. I used to work in construction. I wasn't building the houses. I was like grading the roads, preparing the developments and laying pipe. Drainage pipe. And I saw, the materials they was using. That is not affordable housing. And a lot of people was moving here who I would call them, we used to call them yuppies, white professionals and what have you. And there's some black professionals coming here too, working in Charlotte and then living out here in Gaston County in the rural areas and what have you. Traffic is so bad here. The sewage system in this one little town is collapsing. So, but she was like, that's how I got in the door to talk to her. And not in the door because I don't go in people's houses, but she came out on the porch. I piqued her interest. She said, I knew you was here about politics. And I was like, yeah, but I'm a nonpartisan guy. I'm not here about no federal elections. I'm here for the state. To persuade you to, come out and vote for some candidates that'll be good on those issues. And she was like, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna vote this year. And I was like, why is that? She was like, I just think that politics is a mess right now. Look at the two people that they got running. And I try to stay away from talking about the presidential race. I'm focusing on making sure that Mr. Sambo himself, Mark Robinson, doesn't become our next governor. I'm focusing on punishing Republicans like she was saying earlier. All I hear you talking about the Democrats and the Democrats and the Democrats. Well, I don't know if you heard me earlier. I was saying we know the Republicans ain't shit. They told us they ain't shit. They told us they hate us. So why would we even consider them? So that only leave who? The Democratic Party. And we're talking about this duopoly between the Republicans and the Democrats. But then for black people to support Democrats 80%, close to 90%, and don't never get shit. And then when some of us, like that black man today, say, I ain't got time for that corrupt stuff. Them people corrupt. And they will be telling the truth. But what you gonna tell somebody? Oh, it's not really corrupt. The billionaires don't really control the policy. Oh, them lobbyists, they don't really be giving these people gifts and trips and stuff like that. The Supreme Court is so full of integrity and no, the whole system is fucking corrupt. And if you don't know that, then you're just still in your innocence. You're innocent. You're naive. Everybody know that money rules politics. And so it's just really pathetic that the Democrats just can't fucking support progressive policies. Like what Bernie Sanders was offering, free college tuition for all. You know, we want to talk about education and training and mentorship. How about some free education, college education for all, to where these young people don't have to be like me and join the military to get some college money and then get turned into a war criminal and then have PTSD and all this type of stuff. If you want to help black people, Kamala, with education and all of that type of stuff, then and even entrepreneurship, give us free college for all. Not specifically just for black men, but for all. Universal policies lift all boats. You want to talk about entrepreneurship and $20,000 loans that may be forgivable? That's not just being offered to black entrepreneurs, but everybody. How many did it say? Only 50 people would get, come on. Lord, 50 people, right? How about running on raising the minimum wage to at least damn $15 an hour? I would like to get $20 an hour federal minimum wage, but we'll settle for 15. Come on. That would help black people and black men, wouldn't it? Yes, it would help everybody. It would help everybody. But that's the only way we can get these things passed. Because we had this thing called the 1964 Civil Rights Act that says you can't pass racist legislation. And how about, instead of this $20,000 for a few people, how about some freaking reparations, Kamala? Democrats, y'all got that H.R. 40 bill been up there since 25 years, just sitting there. Just sitting there. The Democrats tried to have some hearings during Trump's administration, but there was really no serious intent on trying to get it passed. That was just, a dog and pony show. They not seriously, and you ain't heard nothing else about it since Biden got elected. And Kamala said, I ain't doing nothing specifically for black people. That's the only thing you could do specifically for black people. Black Americans, American descendants of victims of slavery, who went through Jim Crow and still impacted by modern slavery. I don't need no loans. I just need my reparations. I'll be good, Kamala. I ain't gonna do nothing specifically for black people. Then what's this? What is this plan, this opportunity agenda for black men? Oh, but you playing in my face when it says it's for others as well. Y'all, I do understand. The American education system is trash. It's always been trash. And the only thing that we educate these kids to do is go punch a clock. That's not the only thing. I mean, we do have stuff for gifted students and what have you. But we don't train our students into critical thinking. I don't think just because you can read on the 12th grade level doesn't mean that you can comprehend on the 12th grade. You can read the words, but are you comprehending what you're reading? Are you comprehending this agenda to see that it's a bunch of bullshit? Legalize, this is the last point, y'all. Again, if someone wants to come up, you're more than welcome to come up. But that's what I'm talking about, is this opportunity agenda. Legalize recreational marijuana and create opportunities for black Americans to succeed in this new industry. Okay, well, I thought this was the opportunity agenda for black men. That's for black Americans. That includes women then too, right? So this ain't just for black men. And guess what? You can't do nothing like that. It has to be open to all Americans again. They be playing in your face, hoping that you're illiterate enough. You don't have to be 100%. Y'all, that's sad, man. I did meet a 65-year-old man today who couldn't read or write. I was there to canvass his son in the Navy, and I was like, damn, this man can't read or write. Anyway, I think that's kind of racist. Why would you put legalized recreational marijuana and create opportunities? like what? We gonna get the $20,000 loan, 50 of us. Again, it's not just for black men, but 50,000 of us 50 of us gonna get a $20K loan. to start a smoke shop? Y'all gonna get us a smoke shop mentor? You know, is that what y'all doing? That's what we doing. So we run a legal life. Listen, y'all. This stuff is already in the works. It's been in the works since the state started legalizing weed. Okay? And these banks and these white people, entrepreneurs, they at the top of the industry like every other industry. They got so much money, man, they don't know what to do with it. I don't know if y'all seen them documentaries because they can't put it in a regular bank. And this was a couple of years ago I seen this documentary. They can't put it in a regular bank because of federal laws, and they've been lobbying and putting pressure on the federal government. And the federal government, Joe Biden might have talked about legalizing it or whatever, or declassifying it from the DEA's list of most dangerous drugs. But that's already in the works. That stuff is already in the works. But her campaign team want to sell this as something specific to black people. They be playing in our faces. Playing in my face. Let me say this, though. There is nothing that Donald Trump or Kamala Harris could offer me in exchange for my vote to make me vote for either one of them. Because as I said on my previous podcast, it's a G-side going on. We are at a historic point in time, y'all. In a historic point in time. The rate of unaliving of women, children, babies is really unprecedented. It's at a rate that's unprecedented. The Yahtzees did not shove people into crematoriums, ovens, faster than the Israelis are incinerating people sleeping in tents or wherever they may be. We ain't seen this sort of rate of unaliving people. It's just unprecedented. And Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are ass deep in it. And to be honest with you, every member of the Biden administration that hasn't resigned, and a lot of them have resigned, every last one of them, including Kamala Harris, should be brought up on war crime charges. Y'all just don't know what the United States has lost in terms of global standing. Most of these countries already knew you was full of shit. They know that you can't be trusted to keep your agreements. They already knew that. But if they didn't know, they now know that you the type of motherfuckers that'll support a G-side. The Americans today are no better than the Germans of yesterday, of the Yahtzee regime. There's no difference, y'all. And y'all don't want to be confronted with that freaking truth. You don't want to confront that truth. But that's what's on the ballot. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump could come out tomorrow and say, I'll pass that $1 trillion reparations bill that billionaire Bob Johnson recommended so many years ago, and this is how you can pay for it. They could offer that to me, to us. Well, I can only speak for myself. They could say, Scotty, we'll give you $5 million as your reparations if you just vote for us. You know what? They can kiss my whole black ass. But I know some of you will take that $5 million in a heartbeat. Because that's the society we live in. That's the real American values. Show me anything different. So, let me see. USA was built on the G side and enslavement. It's inherited to the fascist fabric of the settler colony. Amen, sis. Amen. It's like on my last live, I was saying, we don't have to imagine what the Germans were thinking while the Yahtzees was exterminating all these people. We know what they was doing. The same thing Americans doing. It's all about the Benjamins. We're going to make America great again. Kamala Harris going to put money in my pocket. The economy. You know. And you know, Tony Cole said something. I don't know what people picked up on it. And look, he's a human being. I agree with him, but I also have criticism of some of his writing, like praising Abraham Lincoln or giving Abraham Lincoln some kind of credit for us throwing off our chains. Okay, it was more us throwing them Confederates off his ass. Is more like it. Okay, but he had said something in an interview. I think it was with Jon Stewart, and they was like, "Why did you risk this?" or "Why did you do this?" or whatever. And what's going to happen to you, and meaning career-wise. And he was like, he was more concerned about his soul, that if he didn't say something. And I was like, that's the realest fucking thing that dude probably ever said. If I didn't say something, how would I be able to live with myself? So we don't have to imagine what the Yahtzees was thinking while the Yahtzee regime run by the mustachioed madman while they was doing what they was doing. We don't have to imagine how the Germans excused their apathy or their co-signing on, you know, the Yahtzees won elections. We don't have to imagine, you know, and this is a derogatory word, but I'm just using it to be exact about who these people are, but they call them the Indian Wars that was going on in the 1800s, you know, right before the Civil War and then after the Civil War. The extermination of these tribes, of these First Nation people. We don't have to imagine. You know, when they was paying $5 a scalp, didn't matter if the scalp came from a man, woman, or child. And this is what really gets me. See, I know who the MAGA crowd is. They show us who they are every day. But some of you so-called liberals and Democrats, y'all try to play like y'all so woke. You're so woke. And you care about real history and American history and black history and indigenous history. And let's not hide the atrocities and all of that. You try to play like you woke. But how woke can you be if you're sleeping through a G-side that's going on right in front of your freaking face? You're not woke. I'm an old head. You just been fronting all this time. You've been fronting. And now we're seeing the real you and what you stand for. And you're not woke. You're morally broken. So I don't like to get up on no soapbox. Let's see, we got, I think this is some Patriot. It is crazy half of Congress have split citizenship with Israel, which is unlawful. No, it's not unlawful to have dual citizenship. You know, Israelis aren't the only ones that have dual citizenship. And I don't think that half of Congress, I think that's pretty high. But I know a number of Congress people do have dual citizenship with Israel, have committed war crimes in the IDF uniform. I think one of them members of Congress even wore the uniform to Congress. But we know that most of the Obama staff and Joe Biden's staff is full of these people with these dual citizenship, dual loyalties. And I would say they have one loyalty, and it ain't America first. That's what I don't get about I was about to say MAGA friends. I ain't really got no friends, but anyway, Donald Trump talking about this America first. We're going to put Americans first. This dude was wearing a yarmulke the other day, pledging his allegiance to the nation of Israel, not to the United States, to the nation of Israel. It's crazy. We let their leader, a war criminal, an indicted war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu, come and stand in Congress and trash American citizens who were engaging in First Amendment, so-called constitutionally protected speech. And he was calling them the T word. Terrorists. Talk trash about America. And y'all stood up and gave this man a standing ovation. You're all traitors, every last single one of you. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. You betrayed your oath of office. And you're breaking the law right now by continuing to fund them. It's called the Leahy Law. That's a federal law. You've had people in the State Department resign over this open violation of the Leahy Law and lying to Congress about their famine and stuff, them purposely starving millions of people. There's 2 million people trapped in a 2-mile wide, 25-mile long strip of land. Think about that. This is a criminal Congress. This is a criminal administration. So, man, we live in history right now. And where will you stand? What can you say to any child, to anyone about their morals? This is crazy. But to your point, though, dual citizenship. I don't think you should be able to have dual citizenship and serve in the government. You can have dual citizenship, but if you have citizenship to any other country, you ought to be barred from Congress. You ought to be barred from sitting on the Supreme Court or any federal judgeship. You definitely should not be able to run for POTUS. But we got people who, the majority of them don't have dual citizenship. They just get millions and millions and millions in campaign contributions from foreigners. This is nothing new, y'all. Jimmy Carter, going back to John F. Kennedy in the 60s, and then later Jimmy Carter in the 70s. And then in the 80s, you had different Congress people telling y'all that the Israelis are not our friends and that they should be forced to register as foreign agents. This country will not recover from this. And I'm going to have to do a whole nother program on how the empire falls. It don't matter if Trump or Harris get in there. The empire is crumbling. And this supporting the G side is really, really, I think, has done it for a lot of countries who are now well on their way to dumping the U.S. dollar as a trade currency, as the world's, premier trade currency. That's how they was able to sanction everybody, because everybody using dollars and using Western banks. But the whole world is now getting off of that system and starting a new system. It's called BRICS. And it ain't no stopping BRICS. And once that becomes fully, they already implemented a lot of stuff. They're making a lot of progress. It ain't just been going on this year. It's been in formulation for years. When that happens, it's going. Do y'all remember when Zimbabwe's currency got collapsed? And it collapsed because of the World Bank and Western governments, primarily the United States, with sanctions. They don't care if they destroy a country's currency and people are going to be fighting in chaos and can't get no food and because the money's worthless. That's going to happen to the United States. And it's caused you reap what you sow. You've been doing this to so many countries for years. But no, these countries aren't going to do it to you. You've done it to yourself. Y'all, I'm so sorry I have brought children into this world and now have grandchildren, because it's going to get rough as you know what out here. And if you ain't got hunting rifles and stocking up on fishing gear and just survival gear, man, I don't know what you're waiting on, because this economy, this empire is going to crash. And I don't know what's going to happen, but somebody gonna have to be around to pick up the pieces. And it might really be what we need. Because this system is just utterly corrupt, because the people are utterly corrupt. So I don't see that nobody else wants to come up, start to get the hang of this. But listen, I got to get up in the morning and hit the road again and finish canvassing this one neighborhood in Gastonia. I want to thank those who tuned in. Thank you for supporting the live. Again, you can find my voice and several other voices over on blacktalkradionetwork.com. It is managed by the media nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. You can make a donation over at our platform. And with that said, I'm going to say peace and blessings to all. A good night. Free Palestine.